in the database software files, you have SQLite folder, unzip, if it's been zipped, unzip it and place it in C drive. We have two files here. Go to environment variables and in path, add C colon space, that is slash SQLite. Okay. And that is something that after you add to this one. And the remaining files, the exe files, go with default values. So not to, yeah. So just double click and next. There is no difficulty at all. For example, MySQL.
Oh, 1 DB is enough, or like we have to install Postgres, MySQL, and all.
It's your choice, but I've given all the 4 options.
So I already have MySQL. Is it enough, right? That one.
It's your choice. That's what I'm saying. Want to give it a try, go for it, or else it's your job. And SQL Server. This is the actual SQL Server. When it comes to this one, this is a tool that accesses the SQL Server. So this is going to be like this. Management Studio. This is going to allow us to connect to SQL Server. This is a tool, not SQL Server. But this we can connect to multiple SQL services. And SQLite also does double click on it. And next. That's it. So there is no difficulty. So all the binaries been given here. Let me know if you have any difficulty to download these files. And database scripts, I have given it in database also. So something that I'm going to explain it now. So here is where we're going to have. So each one has test.csv sample data to demonstrate how we can insert CSV data to tape SQL Server or whatever through scripts, Python scripts, test.csv, right? This is just sample data. You can replace with any other CSV data file too. Here, the final script basically contains SQL Server queries for practice. So for this one, you need to go to Management Studio. Okay. Let me delete this. To practice SQL queries, you need to go to Management Studio and then go to SQL Server. We have SQL sample DB SQL, right? Copy this one, paste it, but we need to create this database too. So copy this one too. Sorry, not here. Right under master. It's here, this one. So here the database and insert all the data. Connection is broken and recovery is not possible. The client server is trying to recover this connection. Let me refresh the databases. It is not done. Go. Oh, sorry. I think the problem is I'm using sample DB context. So what I need to do is click on this. Okay, let's close this connection. Open a new query, click on this. Make sure that it is master and copy the whole thing. That includes this part also. Uncomment this one. Master, execute this one. This will get executed. So once after that, this final SQL scripts that I have given, you can practice. So the first query that I have given here is just a syntax. But this is not the actual query. This is not the actual query, it's just a syntax. That tells us how to write SQL query with all the options. You can keep trying these options. Let me open a new query. Execute this. Make sure that this is your sample DB. can see that we can fetch the data, right? Just like the way we have pandas, it is SQL. So there's no much difference. Order by, you can see whether it's on a particular column name and ascending or descending. By default, it's going to be ascending. If you want to specifically mention descending, if you want the order by descending, then it's going to order by descending order. I mean to say, for example, salary descending order, you can see that the data got reflected in descending order. If it is ascending, ASC, that's even you don't mention ascending is going to be different, ascending order and ascending. That means it's ascending order, right? If you don't mention ascending order, that's an order by examples. Here we have where conditions, so, or else, sorry. This is for delete one. So if you want to delete a particular row, you can use delete from table name with where condition. If you don't mention where condition, if you execute only this one, all the data in this employee table will get deleted. So always delete with the condition. Suppose if I mention this, then it's going to delete invalid object. There is no such table called employee. Maybe select asterisk from employees, HCM employees. Yeah. So I don't think we can delete this data because this is tightly coupled with another one. Let me delete it. Delete from, let's see, yeah, there are foreign key constraints where employee ID is equal to 101. So I want to delete this particular row. I can delete it. The problem is that there are some constraints. So if when two tables been tightly coupled, one, no, whatever we insert in this is going to reflect another table. We call it foreign constraints. Those things will stop you, but there is a possibility of that. And table, so HCM employees, right? HCM employees can see constraints. We have this constraint. So it is a foreign key, sorry. Where is it? Yeah, keys here. Here, these foreign key constraints are stopping this. So this is again DBA related. I'm not going to go in detail, but you can delete it with condition. Always need to delete with condition. Otherwise, it's going to delete the whole table. And if you want to update something, just like the way we did in pandas, we can need to mention whatever the column that you want to update with the value, but the where condition again important. Otherwise, if you execute only this part, it's going to update the whole table without this. So it's going to update all the last names with this name. So always careful, use update or delete, and yeah, you need to add where condition. And where condition is basically filtering out. So suppose if I mention table scheme HCM and table name country is going to filter out from this data. Suppose if this data reflects a lot of stuff, and I want to filter only table scheme equal HCM and table name equal to some countries, then it's going to filter only that particular part. We can write as many conditions as we want. So either you can use or and. If you use or, either this or that kind of, whereas and it's going to be both the conditions should satisfy. If you mention or, you can see that what will the change? You can see a lot of data, right? Either this or that. So HCM, it refers all the HCM, it refers all the countries, table name countries. So HCM may have employees also other than countries. So you need to, in this case, it's better to use and. Same way, we can even mention like a pattern. I mean to say n percentage means starts with n. Starts with n. Netherlands, New Zealand, Nigeria, Norway, right? So you can depends on the collation. If you use small n, see what happens. This is giving the same data because it depends on the collation. Suppose if you right click on it, SQL Server in properties, there is something called correlation. You can see server correlation. It is case CI means case insensitive. So if it is we can change to case CS also, case sensitive, and it is accent sensitive. So if it is English to French, there is going to, even though it's same word, it is going to be sensitive. But when it comes to case, it is case insensitive. That's the reason even whether you mention small n or capital N, it's going to work. We can change the correlation against later DBA later. You can say in this case, I'm going to fetch all the email, Gmail IDs at the rate percentage. So anything in it can be anything, but it's going to end with this one. And you can see that select all products which end with a number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. It can be any number. So it's not just one. You can even give patterns. SQL is more powerful than any other, even that includes pandas. Try to practice this one, and it's going the same group by, right? Group by and count or aggregate, any aggregate functions. It's count or average and summation, right? We can even write more complex ones like sub case conditions and all. But don't worry about case conditions. Case conditions like an if block, if else block. If this is the condition, if this can satisfy the condition, it's going to return this. If this is the condition, it's going to return this. If this is the condition, if the no, this is going, if this is null, it's going to return this. Else, it's going to return the shipping status. If there's no else condition here, it's going to return the column name as shipping status because it's a calculated column. So it's going to, let me show you that with and without, right? Let me show you without first. We're going to be, so this is the one. So if we add this one, we're going to add another calculate column. Shipping status, the name comes from here. And you can see based on the order date, like date diff, basically the order date difference between order date and ship date. If it is less than 7, shipped within a week. If it is greater than 7, it shipped over a week later. So they want to check how long this has taken to ship. So whatever the orders that has not been shipped, it is going to be null. Ship date is going to be null, right? Give a try, and so there are few functions like date diff and all. To if you can if we can mention day or even hour or minute or week, so to find the difference between these two dates. Regular one and union intersector is like concatenate. You can concatenate two tables. Union all it includes even duplicates, whereas union does not include duplicates. It's going to remove duplicate rows. When it comes to the intersect, it's going to the common area values. So wherever it has common, it's going to return that particular one. See here we have the customer ID. Basically, it means that customers and orders, right? So we are trying to find out who are all the customers placed an order. If you want to know who are all the customers that they haven't placed an order, you need to use except. Because there's 78 and 79 customer product. Sorry, this is basically not customers related. Let me go back to this one. Let's find out all customers that haven't placed an order. You can see there are 4 customers who haven't placed an order, but still in the record, right? Maybe they came to that particular supermarket and registered their names, but they haven't placed any order. So this one is basically products that is not in inventory. So there are 2 products with product ID in 78, 79 that is not been there in inventory. So it's been that it's been emptied out or may not be there. No order has been, we don't, they don't even have stock or the stock has been completed. So they have to immediately place an order. So except is basically like what are all the things that are not been there, whereas intersect is a common part of it. Subqueries is more complex that a query will have another query in it. You can see in where condition here, I'm using minimum place. Basically, it means that we're trying to fetch products that are minimum in the list price, in its list price, and I want to get all the products that with that price. Okay, so it's going to match with the first of all, we're going to fetch the minimum price, and thereafter we're going to get all the products with the same price. That's what this is. We can even mention that no less than or equal to less than equals kind of. Let me skip this one. With the same price, there is only one product. Less than this one, so anything. Okay, obviously this is the minimum price, so there's no way that it's going to be less than. So greater than or equal to, I don't know whether it works or not. Yeah, you can see that anything that is minimum greater than minimum price. Okay, there is only one product. Apart from it, there is the one. Um, so but subqueries are going to be quite complex. It requires a lot of expertise. Give it a try. Try to understand it. Like, and if in case you get in like any questions, let me know. Inner joins, left join, right joins is very much similar to that of pandas. So for every table that you go with inner join, you need to write the condition on condition. And pandas is very limited, whereas in SQL we can write much more complex queries. I myself have written around 50 to 60 lines of a query. Something that after a week I didn't understand even the query that I have written. So it happens. We can write a very complex queries. In fact, the query that I have written on some 4 or 5 years ago, um, it is going to generate another query. As you can see, the not in on against subquery can exist whether it not exist or exist. If there is even one row, then it's going to reflect the data. If it doesn't exist, it not exist, it means if it doesn't exist, then it's going to reflect data. If you mention exist by skipping this not, only when this exists, this will return the data. Let me execute this query too. So my point is not going through all the SQL queries. Practice this, but this is the most important one. We'll start with MySQL. I'm going to, okay, I'll explain how to install it. I think I have not explained virtual environment, right? Till now. Did I explain virtual environment?
No, sir.
Okay, I need to switch to this directory wherever I have placed these files. In my case, it is F drive, Generative AI, uh, databases, databases again. You can see that even after switching this, it is not still reflecting. So in this case, you need to give this drive again. So if it is in E drive, you need to mention E colon. F drive, it is F colon, whatever. If it is C drive, it is C colon. So only then there's a problem with the command prompt itself. Now we need to create a virtual environment. The way that you need to create is Honda env -n db. I'm going to give you any name you want. So you can give any name you want. Database env, database environment. I'm going to use Python 3.10. I tested it. It's working with 3.10. So enter. Sorry, it is not env, it is creates. I'm sorry that create one. So that's going to create the virtual environment. Why? Okay. Here it is giving us how to activate and how to deactivate again, right? So I'm going to activate this. At the end, again, you need to deactivate that. Okay. Suppose you can see that database env. But suppose if you go with want to deactivate, then it's going to come out of this one. So I'm going to activate this. Once you activate this, let me clear the screen. You have requirements.txt file. So you have all the libraries that are required for this particular project execution. Okay. Requirements. So always make sure that Python 3 equal to Python equal 3.10. So I tested with this and it is working. Now you need to use pip install -r requirements.txt. You have seen how to install the library name, right? Pip install library name. But if you want to install right from the file, it has a list of libraries with, you can see the clear version given. Then you need to mention -r. -r is like a loop. It's going to loop every library in that particular list. And it's going to install all the libraries. It has been successfully installed. So if you want to check whether it has been installed or not, pip freeze or pip list will give us the list of libraries that we have installed. So you can see that it has installed all the libraries, right? Let me clear the screen and we can start executing. So MySQL will start with MySQL, cd MySQL. Okay. This is the script that you have to use. Okay, this part, name main, right? Whatever the script, this is the usage part. How to use the script. Whereas this is the actual script. This has almost all the use cases. How to connect, how to disconnect, how to execute a query, how to execute a SQL file. In some of these things that it does not support SQL file execution. So I will explain where it's not going to support SQL file execution. SQL Server does not support. SQLite does not support. Okay, wherever it supports SQL file directly .SQL file, I will explain that. Execute query. If you can directly write a query in this one, I'll show you how to do that. Execute SQL file. How to execute SQL file. How to create a table. How to insert CSV data. How to create a table and insert CSV data. Right? How to insert data. How to drop a table. So update tables. You don't require to write any code for delete data. Drop database. Okay. Let me show you how to use this one. This is basically for I don't know why I have given twice. Okay. Let me remove this part. The same thing. You don't require to connect twice. This is to connect it. And this after you install MySQL, you need to mention the server name or the localhost in the sense I have installed in my own machine. If it is somewhere else, you need to mention server name. In my case, I'm using root. Whenever you install any database software, make sure that you give the same password, admin for all. If you give some other password, it's difficult to remember like after a week or 10. If you already noted in notepad and you have said it well, then you can use the same password. But in my case, while installation itself, I've given password admin for all. And this is going to create a database called SampleDB. And it's going to connect to SQL, MySQL, whatever I have installed in my machine. And I'm going to, let me execute this one first. I'm already in MySQL, right? Python, and it's use Python, MySQL. The script file is MySQL db.py. Unknown database sample db. So it is saying that unknown database sample db. So was it created here? Oh, the reason why I have added this MySQL is it is going to connect to MySQL and then we can install SQL DB. Okay, all right. So it makes sense now. That might be the reason why I have used MySQL. All right. Let me execute this one again. Created connected to the database, unknown database sample DB. Still it is unknown. All right. So if it is unknown, it is difficult to create. Okay. Well, then where do we have this one?
Both the database names are
Sorry.
different. They're having different database name. One is MySQL and is sample DB.
No, this is the master one. This is the master one. MySQL default one. So I need to get into this and to execute this one. Or maybe this is not the default one. Let me open MySQL workbench. Cross-check whether it is system database or something else. Use admin password. Schemas. Okay, this is not MySQL is not okay. It's totally different thing. Sample DB itself. So I have difficulty to create database right from here. So what I'll do is I'll create schema sample DB, or maybe I think this is case insensitive. Sample DB, apply. Yeah, create database sample DB. Yeah, we do have that one. Okay, I would have done this thing. Okay, let me delete this one. Drop schema. I don't have this one, right? So what I do is db. Let me skip this part completely. I think what is the default one? Sys, right? So almost I'll connect to sys itself, and then db handler dot execute. We do have this, execute query is MySQL execute query, create database sample db. Let's execute this one and see whether it works or not. Successfully. All right. So let's cross check this. Refresh. Yeah, now it's reflecting. Okay, that one thing that you need to keep, please add this one. Okay. And from here, what I do is I will comment this out part completely. Now I can start using sample DB. I can connect to this one and can start executing it. Now, what I'm going to do is once I connect to the database, I'm going to insert from CSV file. The CSV file is test.csv, some sample data here given, and it's going to create a table called test table CSV. And then we can query it. Let me uncomment this one too, and execute this one.
Don't have to create that tables with varchar something like digits and all.
It's
Automatically
CSV.
create.
No, it's CSV. Yeah, it's CSV automatically takes the default one. If you want specifically create a table, then there's another one here. Suppose if you want to specifically create a table right from here, students table, it's going to create a student. We don't have students table yet. It's going to create ID column, name, and age with the respective data type. You can see that it got created. But how do we cross check this? We need to mention select as different students, right? We can execute this query. You can see the no data found. But at least it tells us that it's not saying that student, there is no table called students. Okay, now
Yeah.
let me insert these two rows. It's going to insert this rows. You can see insert data, right? So you can take this code as sample one and you can utilize it like the way you want. It has almost all the use cases. You can see that it has been inserted. Let comment this out. Let apply select as students that will fetch the data, right? Now you can see that whatever we have inserted in students table, right here, created the structure and he insert the data and here we have the data. And we can even update data with the condition. I have given the condition name John and it's going to basically for the name John, it's going to update 25 to 30. I'm going to uncomment this. You can see that it got updated to 30. There is no change in this one, alias 22. Earlier it is 22, it is still 22. But John is 25, but it got changed to 30. And now let me update this one. So if we don't, the problem is in this query is that you should not execute without where condition. This is the where condition. If you execute without where condition, it's going to update everything. So it's a very dangerous command. So please don't do that in real time. You can see that it got updated age 40 and 40 for all. If we have more than these rows, more than these two rows, it's going to update the whole table. Wherever it has age, it's going to update with 40. Okay, we need to be careful with that one. So let me comment this out. Here you have a delete data. So it's going to delete based on this condition. So wherever it finds alias name, it's going to delete that particular row. So let me execute this one. And if I execute this one, select as students, now you can see that we find only one row. Earlier we had two rows, right? Alias this got deleted completely.
Are we not writing the where clause right there? Like only name is equal to John, we are writing, right?
This is the where
Don't you have to
clause.
write the query like where name is equal to
Yeah,
don't you have to write like that?
you can write like that. There are two options. You can write like that, execute query, or you can even write like this. It's more simplified one. I have written for that too. So it's
Okay.
your choice. You can, in fact, that is much better, right? Execute query, you will have more control. Suppose this is a simple condition, but writing more complex condition, it's going to be, we can write like that. There's nothing wrong in it, and or but this is going to be more handy. Use execute query if you know SQL. All right, so we can even delete the whole table. This is going to delete the whole table in the sense it's going to delete all the data, not the table itself. So there is a difference between delete and drop. Are we recording the session?
Yes, yes, it's recorded.
So this is going to delete all the data, but not the table. So the difference between delete and drop. Dropping in the sense we are dropping the whole table. Whereas deleting in the sense we are deleting all the data, not the structure. So I'm going to execute this one. You can see that it got deleted. And execute this one, select asterisk from students. Now you can see that you're not going to find any data, no data found because we delete all the data. Again, you need to be careful when using that. And this one is going to drop the whole table. So I'm going to drop both the tables. If you try to execute this again, this will not work. We're saying that student doesn't exist, right? So that we can even drop the database using drop database and disconnect from the session. So that's it. This is what clear. If you understand the script, the remaining scripts are going to be same, quite simple. It's the same thing. But SQLite and SQL Server does not support SQL query execution directly. So you need to open the tool, respective tool, and execute it. So when it comes to PostgreSQL, okay, any questions in MySQL? I hope this is
So
going
if
to
there is
done.
a table data, right, how to convert it into CSV file from the database to CSV?
Once you read data from SQL, you can use, you create data frame, right? dev.to underscore CSV. This has already been explained. So you create the data frame by this queries, right? And thereafter you can dev.to CSV. That's not difficult.
Just exporting the data table into CSV file.
Yeah, the whole data frame you can convert it to CSV, right? Not directly from SQL. It's Python. You get the data from SQL, select as from students, create data frame. Sorry, here
Store
create
it in data frame and
data
convert it
frame, and then you
to
can
CSV.
dev.to CSV. You can do that.
Yeah.
I have not written any thing that dumps in CSV. In fact, even if you write it, the same process I do. All right, so if you, I'm going to switch to PostgreSQL. It took a lot of time to prepare this query. It's not easy to prepare it. So request you to don't share to anyone and definitely test it once in your missions, okay? And PostgreSQL, I'm going to switch to this one and the same process. We can connect it from connected to this one. Python PostgreSQL.py. It is saying the localhost sample DB does not exist. All right, so sample DB does not exist. I don't know what is the default one. Maybe sys, let me try that one. Error connecting the database. Sys, what is the default database of I think it's Postgres. Right, Postgres. Same Postgres name. Hold on. You can see the connected database Postgres. You can execute right here if you want to execute query. I mean, say, once you have DB handler, right, just like the way we created earlier, execute query, and then create database sample DB. You can do that. Let me give this one. You can error connect create database can't run inside transaction block. Is it?
Sir, how it is connecting? Because any driver is not required for this connection for different database.
Yeah, the installation part, no one is assisting me out to do that. So what can I do?
Okay.
So the installation part, I already shared the exe files with the exe files in Google Classroom. DB software files, right? This you have all the exe files. Try to install with default values, and not to. When it comes to SQLite, I have already explained how to how to store it in environment variables. So watch the video.
Okay.
This has an issue. Let me go to sample DB SQL. I think we can create right from, okay. I think this is not even database, it is schema. In Postgres, we call it a schema. Okay, that's the problem. We can write like this, schema. Now I'll execute this. You can see that query got successful, right? It has been created. Okay, anyway, I'm going to drop this because there is a possibility that it may create again because I'm going to execute SQL query, but it already has SQL Sigma. This one. What I do is drop schema, comment this out for execute successful. All right. I'm going to uncomment this one. It's going to okay, sorry, or this one. Yeah, this is going to execute the SQL query. So our system can't find the path specified. Okay. Okay, I'll do one thing. So, okay. In fact, it is there. Looks like there is an issue. Sample db.sql. It has been there in this one itself, but yes. It worked in the previous session, but somehow it is not working now. Okay. Okay, it looks like I have created something here. Create database name. Okay. Same thing. SQL path. Everything is good. Why it's not working? Sorry. What am I doing? I'm just going to CD. Oh, I thought I'm executing this process. All right. Now it was successfully completed. Yeah. I'm executing wrong command. So that contains, you can see that it got executed. Let's go back to, I think we already have this Postgres SQL, right? PG admin, I think. PG admin is the tool that we need to use. It is taking time. And one more thing that I will share another video that I already explained the installation part in that, but it's going to be in Telugu. So I request you to mute that video. Go for, I mean, if you have any questions in installation, go with visuals, not the audio part. Okay. Please enter the password. Okay. Databases, Postgres SQL. Okay. So where is the schema part here? We have sample DB. You can see that. It is going to create all the tables that we have. So where are the tables? You can see that all the tables that I have mentioned in the SQL file, we have it here. So you can see that sample DB products. I think we have products, so we can even right click on it and where do we have? Yeah, set script, execute that. Where is that option? Yeah, execute script. Looks like it doesn't contain here, just created the schema part, not inserted any data. If we insert any data, obviously it's going to reflect. So anyway, it's working. Let me go back to the script and let me comment this out. Okay, now we are going to insert CSV data with the column, with the table name, this one. You can create any table name you want. Okay. You can see that it has been inserted. And if you go back to this one, let's refresh. I don't know whether it has created under this or somewhere else. I think I have not mentioned the schema name, right? Most probably, maybe public. Yeah, it is here. I have not mentioned the schema name. If I mention schema name, it's going to dump over there. And I think there should be a direct select query option. Let's see this one. I can see that all the data that we have it here been there. Okay. Let me uncomment this out. Of course, I already have this query here directly. You can see that it is fetching the data from the CSV table. And this one is going to create a students table, right? You can see the students table created successfully. It's all being created right here in students, but if you want to mention the database name, not the database name, the schema name, isn't it? Let me create, we already have sample DB schema, right? Let's try this one. Let's see where it's going to create. So create successfully. All right, so let me cross check it now. So public, I'm going to go here, refresh it, tables. Where do you have students table, right? Yeah, we can make that modifications, like we can add a schema so that it's going to create that particular schema. If you
Sir,
obviously
schema
but
name and database name same things, or it is
in some softwares it's going to be schema, they call it a schema. Database is going to be different. In some case it is going to be Oracle, PostgreSQL, it is schema. Database is totally different, whereas in SQL Server it is instance and databases. This is database, whereas this one is an instance. So there is a difference. The way in Oracle and PostgreSQL they call the instance as DB, whereas the database as schema. So we need to read the documentations. Right, so it is aborted. Student already exists. Oh, sorry, I have not commented this out. Now it is no data found. Is that clear?
yes.
Just the naming convention. Even I got confused and then changed it later. I realized that it is schema. Now you can see that it has inserted that. Now I'm going to uncomment the students and basically I made a mistake here. The sample, it is going to store it in public one, right? Public schema. I need to mention this one. Let me uncomment this one. Now you can see that it is fetching directly from schema, this one. If you go to page admin and select from what is the schema name? Sample db dot students. Secure this one. Going to get all the rows, right?
Here we have to write both schema name and table name.
Yeah, here we have to mention both schema and table name. Whereas in SQL Server and all, we need, if you mention database name right here, it's going to be enough. Otherwise, the database name is going to take the public one as default one.
Yeah, in MySQL also only table name is enough to retrieve the data.
Because when we change to database context, it's going to work like charm. We don't need to mention that.
So in the real time, which database will the company people uses most of the time?
It's their choice. So usually SQL Server or MySQL, or depends on their choice. It's not one database. It's going to multiple databases. In Walmart, when I work, there's going 2,500 databases for SQL Server itself. There will be another 10,000 servers for IBM databases.
So the writing of the query, will it changes from one DB to another, like from MySQL to changes?
Mostly SQL is not going to get changed, but when it comes to other things like when we look at this SQL script, the way we write this structure and all is going to get changed. But you not to bother about it. So you can use this one, right? Generative AI to convert it at least some extent it's going to be helpful, isn't it? You can simply copy the code and ask you to give the compatible code for a so-and-so database software. It's going to work, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in old days, we used to have a lot of difficulty. So we used to face a lot of difficulty to convert it to Oracle and all. But now it's quite easy. Anyway,
Sir,
so we go ahead.
yeah, sir, means ultimately, sir, any data, whatever we are doing the analysis, we have to push it into the any of the database, sir, for analysis purpose.
So
Or,
when it comes to databases, they to store data. So Python is not really to store data or to process it, not to process data itself. So when it comes to database software, there are dedicated tools to do that process. So they are good at it. Python is like when we want to write a more complex logic, machine learning algorithms, that stuff. So most of the query data processing need to be done in SQL itself because it's quite faster. When we fetch to Python, some case we have to, but when it fetch to Python, it's going to quite slow. That is one problem we always have.
and
Sorry.
sir, but in the database, these are all relational data. So, but what about that unstructured data? So,
Yeah, so if it is unstructured vector database, we are going to discuss in LangChain, but not here. So LangChain is going to, we can use the framework directly to connect to vector database.
okay.
So we will discuss that in LangChain. And I'm going to, so I already exclude this one. I'm going to delete from, consider it got deleted. You can even cross check in pgadmin. Let me refresh this. If we're not going to, student or students, sample DB, right? Let me refresh this one. Still, okay, deleted the data, not drop the data, right? If you exclude this one, you don't understand. So it has deleted only this particular row. All right, so without condition, I think without condition here I have given, but I need to mention the schema. Let me go back here and execute this again. I'm not going to find any data, right? So I'm going to, so careful with this schemas I haven't given in the main script, so modify it. And again, I can drop it right at the end. Again, it's going to drop at this, of course, the default one, public one. I'm going to drop even sample DB structure. It got dropped everywhere. So let's refresh that. You are not going to find after refresh. You're not going to find students, right? In public, you're not going to find it because we have deleted that one too. In public, there are tables. So you can see that. Refresh. Table CSV is still there because we have not deleted. Okay. Test table. The test table. Okay, this is a different one altogether. So I think I have not mentioned that. Let me delete that one too. PG. Of course, it may throw error that it doesn't exist, but this got dropped. So if you refresh now, is what happened? Still there. Why is it so test? What is the name at least? Test underscore table underscore CSV underscore PG. Okay. Drop successfully. It is really showing drop successfully, but it is somehow not fresh. But it's not being dropped. Okay. Let me use specifically drop table. Okay, now at least what happened? It's not. It still has data and it's able to retain it. Okay. Refresh this databases. There is the schema public and table still been there surprisingly even after delete it. Test underscore table underscore CSV underscore PG. I have no idea why it's not working. But in other table, other schemas, it is working. Looks like the public schema will not allow me to delete it. It got deleted. Okay. It got students got deleted. Test table CSV got deleted. So there's no issue with that one. Okay, looks like I need to figure it out, like why this not deleting from public.
There may be foreign key relation to another table.
No, this is only one table I have created. So it's directly from CSV. Most probably that public schema tables will not get deleted unless we explicitly delete it. There should be, that could be the reason. So let me drop sample DB and disconnect. It's going to drop the whole thing. And if we go here, we should not find anything. Public schema, oh, it's still there. It's going to drop the database, right? So in this case, what I need to do is, it's going to, when I need to modify the script itself, drop the database. Here I need to mention, if exists, there's going to be schema, isn't it? So that's all I think. Let's try this. Will work or not. Disconnected from the cascade to drop the dependencies. If it doesn't work, then we need to execute query. So let's try that one too. Sample DB is still there. So what I can do is connect back again, right? Yeah, we have the sample DBs. You already have file. Yeah, I just dropped the contents already. Let me cross check it now. Schemas. It's still not drop. I still have tables surfacing. I don't know why PostgreSQL is working, a bit weird. I tried all that. Okay, we need to cross check it, like why it's not working.
So the port number is like 5432. Is it restricted for only Postgres or something like that?
That is the default port that comes with. Yeah, so whenever we install the PostgreSQL, it's going to come with 5432. But it can be changed. It can be changed in the sense like usually we don't install with default ones. If you give some other, you need to give some other part number, server name, obviously. Okay, so there are some issues with this one, especially dropping public one. And when it comes to the schema related, it's working well. When it comes to this one, this is not working. And even this one, public also, it's not. I need to look into it. But for now, the other queries are working well, so go for it. Let me switch to SQLite. So clear the screen. SQLite, SQL query is not working, so I'm going to manage with the other options I have. Here I'm going to connect to this one, going to insert test.csv data, going to see the data. Python, SQLite, what is the name that I have given? SQLite. is that it got reflected. You can, it has been inserted too. So let me comment this out. We can create our own table. Of course, when we fetch it, we're not going to find any data. That is something we can insert it. There won't be any change apart from that. We have inserted the data. So past constraints, you can see that we got it, fetching data once we insert it. It's going to update John with age 13, right? And let's cross check that because you got updated, right? Sorry. Let me do this. It's going to update everything without any condition. And we're going to delete the particular analyzed row. You can see that it got deleted. And if we delete the whole students table, that's going to delete all the data. And we can even select as students. You can see no data found because we deleted all the data. We can drop the tables now. You can see that it got table. And if we try to execute select query against any of the tables, it's going to say no such table. We can of course drop the database at the end. And SQL Server, the same thing. There won't be any difference. Oh, right. So SQL Server again, the same case. It's not going to support SQL file, but again, as master, I'm going to use Windows as initials. But if you have specific username and password, you can mention that. And I'm going to execute this test.csv, and I'm going to see the data. Python.SQL server, that it is inserted the data, right? And if you go to SQL server, refresh, and select asterisk from what is the table name? Test table. What is the name that I given? Test table CSV, right? Where did I create it even? Oh, I have created master. So I'll do one thing. I'll switch to sample DB. If this does not support it, right? So you can either create, you can execute, you can use either SQL query. Already have the database here, so you can directly write database name sample DB if it doesn't exist, or else you can use DB handler, right? Execute query and then create database sample DB. Either in any of these will work. Okay, so I already have this one, test table CSV. It is not reflecting, isn't it? Yeah, I am going to switch to the sample DB, then this will work. But I have not inserted in sample DB, right? So I'm going to go with this one. I hope this will work. Let's cross check that. Oh, this should work. Yeah, it is working. There won't be any change when it comes to execution. We create a students table and we can fetch the data, but it will not have any data. So I'm going to execute all into one. So it's going to fetch data after insertion. It's going to update this one, and then I'm going to execute. So I'm not going to execute this one because it will update all. But let me execute all at once. You can see that it has inserted data and it's showing the data. Initially, it was showing no data found. After inserting, we got the data, but we have updated it 30. So when I switch to this one, you can see that it got updated to 40. So we should not update it without where condition. I'm going to delete this row with the name alias, and this is what I got, only one row. If I delete all the data, this is the one without any where condition, you can exclude that. The student deleted successfully. So there is no data in it. There's no data found, right? Finally, you can drop the tables and you can drop the tables and database. Disconnected from the database. Let's refresh that. Databases, let's refresh that. It is still disconnected from the database. Okay, so I've already okay, the problem is that in order to drop the database, I should not be in the same database context. I should not be in the same database context here. So I need to switch to master. Only then I can execute it. So I'm going to execute now. You can see that we got an error. So even we can't drop that one. Now it should work. Okay, the problem is that again, okay, this should work. Let me refresh it. So it looks like it is trying to drop sample DB. So not master DB. Let me, it should work. It's still throwing error. All right, so let me replace this one. Execute query, drop database, sample DB. A statement code cannot be used inside a user transaction. So this all comes under user transaction. That is the difficulty I have right now. It's not allowing me to do that. So even though it worked in other cases, all right, so let me check the other tables that got cleaned. So the remind these tables were there, students, and the other table is being cleaned. Only problem is this one. So it's not allowing me directly do that there. Sample DB, of course, we can do it from right from here. Because we are in the same context, sample DB, switch to master, and this will allow us to drop the database. All right, this is a long session, so I request you to go through it, and in order to mug up those scripts, give it a try once, and it's going to be definitely helpful at some point of time. Okay, it's saying that sample DB is currently in use because I'm using it here, right? That could be the reason. I'm going to, so let me execute this again. But I will do one thing, because there is when we have difficult drop it, what I can do is right click, delete, and I can close the existing connections. This is one good option of the database. All right, so that's it. I already shared the scripts. I'll share another video, but I request you to bear with that video because it's going to be in Telugu. Please mute it. If in case you got any problem, better watch the video step by step and install all the softwares. So let me show you the video. This is the video is going to be. I've already provided all the binaries. Okay. So here you have all the software files. You have it here. Download it. When it comes to SQLite, I already explained in the first stage. I mean, when I start the session. So please watch this recording to understand how to configure SQLite. Okay, I have explained all step by step. Please then take a note of it, prepare a notes, and follow along. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions in today's session?
No, sir. So will you share that video in the WhatsApp group?
Okay. Are you able to see my screen? No issues,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Which one?
The
That
video.
one installation video you told just
Video.
now.
I will upload right here itself.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not in YouTube, so I store it in Drive. So it's upload right here. So watch this. All right. Thanks for joining. I will meet tomorrow. Most probably we'll have, we have to discuss Docker. So tomorrow there will be an important session, Docker. Please don't skip the session. All right. That's it for today. Thanks.
Thank you.